Will black-eyed peas be lucky enough to tofu? And tofu well?
I don't know what it is. I'm just so optimistic.
Hello friends and not yet friends, welcome back to Mary's Test Kitchen where spring has sprung. And I'm getting help from today's sponsor, Sage Wellness, and their allergy release to help my sinuses get through the season, fund this experiment, and give you a deal if you want to stock up on their wonderful plant-based potions. And I'm really optimistic about our chances today. Peas have been really successful for Will It Tofu, the series where we commandeer the traditional method of making soy tofu to use on non-traditional ingredients. If you're new around here, you might be wondering why. I'll get into it later, but just know peas passed the boil test. Each one of them tastes pretty good, and some even came out as bouncy as traditional tofu. But did you know black-eyed peas are technically beans? As is tradition, let's soak our beans in plenty of water overnight to plump them up and make them easier to blend. Then the next day, drain out the soaking water and combine them with double their volume of fresh water in the blender on high speed for 30 seconds. That breaks down the fiber, of which there is a lot, releasing the protein into the water to make milk, as well as a bit of fat from the beans and the sugar and the starch, and see how difficult or easy it is to separate the milk from the fiber. Easy. Not as easy as milking raw peanuts, which you've seen previously, but pretty good, pretty up there in terms of ease. As for the pulp, it's looking ideal. It's already fairly dry. The particles are fine, not chunky, which lets us know we had some really good extraction. This should be mostly fiber. Usually I save it in the fridge for experimentation later, but I don't have room, so it's gonna go in my dehydrator. We'll check back on this tomorrow.
Already see a layer of starch. Wow, it's thick. Check that out. It's so interesting how some of the layers of starch, they just become so solid like this. Check out that effect. Like it seems so solid at first, and then if you don't put pressure on it, it just melts. To get the starch out, you've got to like mix it with what liquid is in there. See how easily that pours now. Maximum, there's like a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons max in there. But what are we expecting?
Now we'll see if the starch will settle to the bottom of this bowl with just a bit of time and patience, or if we need to invoke our newfound powdered power. If you know, you know, but if you don't, you'll find out in a bit. After about an hour, we do have a distinct starchy layer, and a few other layers. But the starch is what we're interested in not having in our milk. I got a new gadget because a few people suggested it in the comments. An auto siphon, which is used in beer making to separate liquid from the sediment, but in our case, the milk from the starch, hopefully.
It's going slowly. Oh no, the starch layer is completely disturbed.
No such luck. The suction was clearly enough to disturb the starch layer so that it got sucked through anyways. So I'll do it in our old-fashioned reliable way, letting it settle again for an hour, and then just ever so gently and slowly scoop out the milk, disturbing it as little as possible, and leaving as much starch behind as we can. It's just the kind of starch that gets kicked up, and there's gotta be quite a bit in the pot. Fortunately, a few weeks ago we discovered the power of amylase together, and it turned this starchy quinoa milk back into watery liquid.
In case you're new, amylase is an enzyme that is, well, it's actually found in your own saliva. It breaks down starch into simple sugars so that your body can actually use it. So I'm going to drop it into some water so it can dissolve.
I'll add a 1/4 teaspoon, which according to everything I've read, should be more than enough for this amount, but we'll see. When starchy milk is cooked, it gets thicker because the starch holds onto water and swells and gels as it's heated. If the starch turns into sugar, then it's water soluble and the milk should stay thin. This plant-based amylase works best between 150 to 168 degrees Fahrenheit, but will denature at higher temperatures, so I'm keeping a very close watch.
Okay, it's been 10 minutes. We are at 160 degrees. The amylase should have had enough time to do its work. Let's give this black-eyed pea milk a taste test. It's savory. It would make a great vegetable broth. I don't feel like it has a distinct black-eyed pea taste. I feel like black-eyed peas taste pretty distinct. If you've had them, you know what I mean. Would I say that it's a little bit sweet? I don't know. If it is, it's barely sweet. As usual, I'm using gypsum, aka calcium sulfate, that I got from online. You can buy the food grade gypsum at your local wine and beer making supply stores, that kind of thing. All right. So I've got to bring this back up to a higher temperature, actually.
Let's take it to a boil. Adjust the heat so that it stays at a simmer and cook it for 10 minutes to make sure that it's really cooked through. Now we add the coagulant, which as usual is calcium sulfate, one of the most traditional tofu coagulants. It just needs a little time to do its thing, so let's cover it. Which gives me time to answer the question. Every other episode, I get the question, why? Why bother? Tofu is already cheap, soy is already great, and I tend to agree, but there are 3 main reasons we keep doing these. By we, I mean me. And probably you because you're watching. The last one's probably the most important, but first, obviously, it's amazing for all my friends and not yet friends with soy allergies. No soy, no problem. Will It Tofu has already discovered many that work, many that are easy. And personally, I really feel for anyone with allergies. Like when nature and food is literally trying to get you. I don't have food allergies, but I do have environmental ones. I am allergic to practically every local tree around these parts and all sorts of grasses, which is great because they're so plentiful here in southern Alberta. They make me sneezy, itchy, like a little sore in the nasal region at this time of year. But what nature giveth, nature may help take away. If you get these kind of symptoms too, you're gonna love this. I use a particular blend of essential oils to help manage my symptoms. In particular, Allergy Release by my favorite essential oil experts and proudly Canadian brand, Sage Wellness. Super convenient on the go. It comes on this little roll-on. I just roll it on my palms. Make a little cup. Peppermint feels so fresh and so relieving, while myrrh is known to help open the airways. And that top note of lemon helps me feel energized. It is a totally non-drowsy relief. This is really helping me love spring despite my allergies. And if you also want some natural, cruelty-free, 100% plant-based relief too, please use my coupon code. It's Test Kitchen. With the link in the description, you'll get 20% off site-wide. Plus, get free shipping, and that works in the USA and Canada as well. Together, it smells so sweet and citrusy. It's a little herbal and it's a little floral, but not overpowering. It's actually very gentle but effective. And actually, the end of this comes off too and becomes a dropper. So you can add that to like a bowl of hot steaming water, and that just creates a steam treatment. I actually first discovered this on their roll-ons on their Peppermint Halo roll-on, which if you're a regular, you probably already know. I depend on this for tension or pressure in my neck or head, especially weather-related. You just roll it on your hairline, on your temples. If you're feeling neck tension, you can put it on your trapezius. But if you put a few drops in a bowl of steaming water and you can just do a little steam treatment, if you put a towel over your head there, not too close to the water, though, don't burn your nose. You get your little spa treatment and it really, really works like, so good. My friends know I've been depending on this for years, but you don't have to take my word for it because there's over 2,000 5-star reviews on the website. You can read yourself. Speaking of, the coupon code also works on the entire website, so make sure you pick up anything you want to stock up on. I have been a fan of Sage for like 20 years. I love their body butters. I love their essential oils. Always high quality, always excellent stuff. Plus, plant-based, cruelty-free, 100% natural. They're a really great company all around, and I'm really honored they decided to partner with me again. So don't forget to use that 20% off coupon code TESTKITCHEN. Get your free shipping across Canada and the US for like a limited time. But we've gotten a little in the weeds, so to speak. The second reason for Will It Tofu is kind of personal. It's not a secret. I've mentioned it here or there, but it only applies to like me and maybe 3 other people in the audience. So I don't like to talk about it too much, but yeah, I have to keep keto to stay feeling great. And keto when plant-based means a lot of soy, a lot of tofu, and there's nothing wrong with those things. I really like them, but how about some variety? It's the spice of life. And let's be real, I miss beans. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to make tofu out of it, or see if I could, and still have my beans, while still feeling great all the time. And then lastly, the thing that keeps me going, even though we've had all these successes and all these failures, is pure curiosity. I just need to know at this point. And I think you do too. Speaking of curiosity, let's see if our black-eyed pea milk has coagulated. My friends, we have separation. The curds are looking, well, loose and not super well clumped together though. For comparison, this is how chickpea curds looked. And then against soy curds. But we don't really know how it tofus unless we commit. Uh-oh, is that gonna fit? I don't know. Nope, not yet. Okay. Let's be a little bit more patient. Or give it a helping hand, or a helping spatula in this case. You know what we should do? That's right, a whey taste test. It looks like vegetable broth. It doesn't taste like vegetable broth anymore. It tastes like it could be part of your soup and it would be fine. Okay, let's see if it'll fit now. Oh man, it doesn't fit. Okay. All right, I'll do something I haven't done in a long time. Use one of these old-fashioned tofu presses. Find a can of soup to put on top of there and then stick it in the fridge. So these are going to go in the fridge and we'll find out. But what about the pulp we put in the dehydrator earlier? It's the next day and it's been cooking at 165 degrees Fahrenheit this whole time. Confession time, I already started. Looks like we have 191 grams of black-eyed pea fiber flour. Interesting, seeing as a pound of black-eyed peas only have 91 grams of dietary fiber, meaning there's more than just fiber here. I don't want to make guesses, but just to compare, okara, aka the soy pulp left over from making regular tofu, has been known to contain anywhere from 40 to 50% dietary fiber, 15 to 30% protein, 6 to 16% fat, with the remaining presumably being sugars and starch. Regardless, we can use some of this pulp flour later in the video, and the rest will store nicely in the pantry and not take up valuable real estate in the fridge. Speaking of, it's time to get our black-eyed peafu out of there. My friends, the moment of truth approaches. I don't know why, I'm just so optimistic.
And actually it's been 2 days, not overnight, because, well, I planned to film on the weekend, but then it was sunny and, well, you just can't. So this has been pressing a little longer than normally, but I think that will only benefit the tofu. Let's start with the little guy. So I have been draining the water throughout the weekend. And here's our little flat guy. It's looking creamy, but also firm. Oh, it is soft. Check that out. It just broke. Okay, I'm gonna do a little taste testy. It tastes like creamy black-eyed peas. Very luxurious. But the real question is, will my favorite tofu press make a difference? Those crumbly crumbles under the way. So it's firm enough to cut and hold, but it's not bouncy. It definitely squishes really easily. But it's giving mashed potatoes, and that's giving me an idea, actually. These are the plain with salt, one with oil, one without. I forget which is which. I think we'll find out when we taste it. And then we have the seasoned. This one is with oil, this is without oil. It's a bit dry. Yeah, I wouldn't serve it like this, not without a nice sauce. The outside of this is actually crispy. Feels crispy too. Still a bit dry this way. Too dry. It needs more richness. This is with oil, seasoned with oil, seasoned without oil. It's got a little bit of, it's actually quite soft. It's not really crispy on the outside. Oh. I think the seasoning locked the moisture on the inside. The very edges are crispy, and that adds a nice touch. Let's try without oil though. See if it was the seasoning that did it or the oil on the outside. I think it was the seasoning that really locked in the moisture. See these browned edges? It's a nice texture, but I wouldn't go so far to call it crispy. But overall, very delicious. I like it. But what happens if we boil it? Well, certainly a lot of the edges crumbled off, dissolved off, but I'm impressed that it kind of still held together. Yeah. Spoke too soon. Let's get these pieces out, and then we'll do a taste test. Interesting. So it's like soft to the touch, but interesting. Let's have a taste. It's been a while since I've had paneer, but I feel the texture is closer than using tofu. So interesting. I wish I had some spinach so I could try making palak paneer with this. You know how cheese kind of sticks to your teeth? Like soft cheeses kind of stick to your teeth? That reminds me of this. It's, you know, it tastes like black-eyed peas, so it is tasty. Yeah, but I suspect that there still is a lot of unconverted starch in here, which is why we had so much volume in the tofu press in the first place. So I think maybe I could have gone a couple more rounds with amylase. Not sure. But we're gonna have to leave this experiment here and try again next time I have some more beans coming into the series.
Thanks so much for watching, my friends. Please don't forget to save your sinuses with allergy release this spring, or stock up on your Sage favorites with 20% off site-wide when you use the link in my description box and code TESTKITCHEN at checkout. Bye for now!